Hello, this is Delia again. I'm reading The Vampire Diaries, The Awakening. I'm on chapter 14.
You have no idea.
This is part 2.
You, me, and Damon.
I was surprised early this morning, I said. Yes, she replied. She looked at both Damon and me without liking. My mistress was very unhappy last night, she said meaningfully. All night long she wept. When she said that, a strange feeling came over me. It wasn't just shame and grief that Catherine should be so unhappy. It was fear. I forgot my hunger and weakness. I even forgot my amenity for Damon. I was filled with haste and a great driving urgency. I turned to Damon and told him that we had to find Catherine, and to my surprise, he just nodded.
And how is that?
We began to search the gardens, calling Catherine's name. I remember just what everything looked like that day. The sun was shining on the high cypress trees and the pines in the garden. Damon and I hurried between them, moving more and more quickly and calling. We kept calling her. Elena could feel the tremors in Stefan's body communicated to her through his tightly gripping fingers. He was breathing rapidly but shallowly. We had almost reached the end of the gardens when I remember a place that Catherine had loved. It was a little way out onto the grounds, a low wall beside a lemon tree. I started there, shouting for her. But as I got closer, I stopped shouting. I felt a fear, a terrible premonition, and I knew I mustn't go. Stefan, said Elena. He was hurting her, his fingers biting into her own, crushing them. The tremors racing through his body were growing, becoming shudders. Stefan, please! But he gave no sign that he had heard her. It was like a nightmare. Everything happened so slowly. I couldn't move, and yet I had to. I had to keep walking. With each step, the fear grew stronger. I could smell it, a smell like burnt fat. I mustn't go there. I don't want to see it. His voice had become high and urgent, his breath coming in gasps. His eyes were wide and dilated, like a terrified child's. Elena gripped his vise-like fingers with her other hand, enfolding them completely. Stefan, it's all right. You're not there. You're here with me. I don't want to see it, but I can't help it.
You were dancing.
There's something white under the tree. Don't make me look at it. Stefan, look at me. He was beyond hearing. His words came in heaving spasms, as if he could not control them, could not get them out fast enough. I can't go any closer, but I do. I see the tree and the wall and that white behind the tree. White with gold underneath. And then I know, and I'm moving toward it because it's her dress. Catherine's white dress. And I get around the tree and I see it on the ground, and it's true. It's Catherine's dress. His voice rose and broke in unmanageable horror. But Catherine isn't in it. Elena felt a chill as if her body had been plunged into ice water. Her skin rose in goose flesh, and she tried to speak to him but couldn't. He was rattling on as if he could keep the terror away if he kept on talking. Catherine isn't there, so maybe it's all a joke. But her dress is on the ground, and it's all full of ashes, like the ashes in the earth. Just like that, only these smells of burnt flesh. They stink. The smell is making me sick and faint. Beside the sleeve of the dress is a piece of parchment. And on a rock, a little way away is a ring with a blue stone. Catherine's ring. Suddenly called out in a terrible voice. Catherine, what have you done? Then he fell to his knees, releasing Elena's fingers at last to bury his face in his hands. Elena held him as he was gripped by racking sobs. She held his shoulders, pulling him to her. lap. Catherine took the ring off, she whispered. It was not a question. She exposed herself to the sun.